Guys, Jetpack is here, and today is January 13th, 2021, and I want to do a throwback story with you to the time where me and my friend our friendship got broken up the first time, and now we actually celebrate it. And so we have to go back to the day of January 13th, 2020. So it was a day where I was hanging out with Dan, where I decided I was going to go hang out with my friend Dan, who lives right here, and I live over there. But we decided to go hang out, and we played around for a while. So I got out at like 6, I'm going to say 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And I decided I was going to hang out with him, and I took some money with me. Mistake number 1. I decided to take some money with him and hang out with him. That was my biggest mistake, was taking the money. That's what broke us up for the first time. P.S. we got back together later that month. But sorry, it's shaking I'm freezing my balls off. But we got broken up. So we decided we were gonna hang out, and we played around for a bit. So the first thing we did at 6, I'm gonna say around 7:06 p.m. we decided. So I'm going to the neighbor's house. Yo, Demir. Yo, what's up? I'm doing a throwback video. So when we did the beer bowling thing, you want to be in it? So this is where we did our beer bowling thing. Yeah, I'm doing a video for throwback to the time that we had that thing over there. Remember that?
What thing?
Where my dad did his thing. That's 1 year ago today. But yeah, so the first thing we did was
actually not a year ago.
It was January 13th, 2020.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. I wrote down it. So we decided for the first thing we do, hanging out that day, we decided to go in this guy's trash can, dig out all of his beer bottles, and build it up to a bowling, make a little bowling alley. And you can check my video down in the description. It'll show that video. But he recorded it. So shout out to this kid named Demir. Shout out to him. He recorded the video. Well, he was holding the camera. You held the camera. But yeah, so. But and then we decided later on to go to Dollar Tree and get some candy, and we did. So we got some candy and some food. And then when 8 o'clock approaches, this is where it gets funny. I meant fun. So it was around 8:30 in the afternoon. We decided to just hang out in his yard, Demir's yard. And all of the blue, we were just playing around, and I heard my father just screaming and all that. And then I look, and it was my father at the neighbor's house banging on the door, screaming my name. And somehow the door opens, and my friend Dan's mom's come out. And my dad saw me. Before this, we went and got before this whole thing. The reason why I was scared that my dad was at the door was because there was confetti all over the place. We went, used the money that I had, I'm gonna say about $20, and bought some of these big boomsticks and fired them. And my dad was there, and he saw the confetti and all that, and he asked, "What'd you do with the money? Do you have your money on you?" I was thinking, shit, you knew I had my money. But and then he found out. I told him that I spent the money. I spent some of my money on boomsticks, and my dad. And then back to the thing, my dad was just yelling at me, my friends, and then his mom came to the defense of him, and they kind of got jawed at each other. Then I just went home. Me and him walked home, and I gave him the money. I gave him my remaining funds. I told him that I spent $25. I didn't tell him I spent some additional money on candy. I spent only $18 at the Party City at those boomsticks. Alright. Thanks for being in the video. Alright, see you, Demir. But then and then my dad told me do not hang out with do not hang out with that kid anymore. He can manipulate you and take your money, which I didn't believe that. I didn't believe he would do something like that, and I never will. I'll never believe it. He will take my money and all that. That's not what a friend is. You don't go manipulate a kid, take his money. Like, that's the only time he made me spend money I gave in. I didn't have to, but I gave in for the money. So we decided, but we went home and I had $55 left. When I left the house before this whole thing last year, I had 80. Now I have 55. So yeah, so I decided to sit home, and then he told now my estranged mother. I'm gonna do a throwback on. I'm gonna do a story on that like later this year, probably like June or something, or I could do one soon. But he told my estranged mom what happened. She came home and actually took me on a ride because I didn't want to be at the house. My father was afraid he was gonna yell at me even more, or just start getting under my skin and try to start something. So I went with her. She took me on a ride to the gas station, the local gas. So before we got on the ride, when we left the house, my friend's mom, my friend's mom, and her came over to my house, and I went, hugged her and apologized and all things. She said, it's okay. She gave me my candy. I went quickly, took that candy and hid it so my father didn't see that I spent $5 of that $25 that I spent on that, because he thought I spent the full money on the boomsticks, but even though I should have told him I went and spent the money. But he didn't want me going up to the store at this time, and I obliged and I went. He only allows me during like the summer months, but now he's starting to allow me more because I'm getting older. I'm close to 16 years old. I'll be 16 in 3 months. But yeah, then we took a ride to the gas station. I heard a window open. Then we took a ride to the gas station, and then she just talked to me, told him just don't hang out with him for a while, to just make your father happy, because that thing can piss him off though if I break his rules, because he lived in a bit. It's just the environment of parenting was different back in the 1970s and the 60s, in the 1960s and 70s, than compared to now in the 2000s, 2010s, and 20s. It was different, but what he didn't realize was I used to sneak out. Like every day I would sneak out and tell him I'm just going around the block, when in turn I'm hanging out with this kid. I'm hanging out Dan. I'm hanging out with him. For a while, my dad didn't know until he actually never knew I was hanging out with Dan. Until he never knew, but I was forced to stop hanging out with him again because of Corona. It was April 7th? No, it was April 18th. I didn't hang out with Dan until May, and then that'll be another throwback story, but I didn't hang out with Dan until we technically had our friendship broken on the 13th, but we were preparing that by the 29th. Our friendship had been fixed by the 29th, as we couldn't afford to break it off. But, yeah, that was the anniversary of our friendship getting broken up for the first time, happening on January 20th, 2020, between 6:40 p.m. and then it all coming to a hit at 8:30 p.m. So it is currently like 6:40 now. So it's starting that anniversary, and tonight there's a Flyers game going on, and at 9 o'clock, right around that time, is when my contracts for my vice presidents, co-parenting my sons, they're dogs, but they're my sons, I call them, expire. And I have until the 18th to decide a renewal, and then my 26th presidential term begins on the 20th, when the same day Biden gets put in to the country. But I hope you all enjoyed me talking and all that on my first throwback story, the first time I ever kept my face out in this camera for this long, because we're almost approaching the 10-minute mark. But yeah. Oh yeah, last year was the same temperature. It was 45 degrees compared to now it's 45 degrees. But I hope you all enjoyed that throwback story. I'll be doing more in the future. but just not at a fast rate. But I'll be doing more in the future. So go subscribe to my channel, leave a like, leave a comment, go follow me on all my other social media programs, and see you later on the next one. Bye.